Tuesday was not only sunny, but warm. Howard had told me that there was no point in packing short-sleeved shirts for Australia, either Melbourne or Sydney in September, but I had obstinately packed a couple of polo shirts anyway. Today I got my chance to wear one. Out on the water I needed a windbreaker, but on land a polo shirt was just fine. On the water meant on the ferry from Circular Quay out to Manly. Our trip took just a half hour, and we opted for the ferry rather than the hydrofoil in order to get better views of the harbour bridge. And the Opera House. Those views stayed good for about a third of the ride. Shortly before arriving in Manly, we passed the Hornsby Lighthouse on the south, and opposite it, North Head, and in between, a view out to the open sea. When we disembarked by Manly Cove Beach, I had to ask Howard what the enclosure nets by the beach were for. Shark deterrence, obviously, he replied. We ambled down the Corso, the few blocks from the wharf to Manly Beach. It was warm enough for people to be out on the beach, if not yet to be comfortable in summer swimwear. At the southern end of the beach, we passed by the Manly Life-Saving Club and observed the various signs pertaining to surfing and swimming restrictions. We had a little walk planned before lunch, along Marine Parade, the half-kilometre or so over to Shelley Beach, enjoying the uninterrupted ocean vistas on the way. That was enough to get me hungry, so I abandoned my hopeless attempts to identify this bird, and we retraced our steps and stopped at the Bower for lunch. It was warm enough for people to want to sit in the shade, so we grabbed the last free table, and definitely warm enough to enjoy sipping fresh coconut water while we enjoyed the panoramas. As soon as warm weather arrives, I crave lunchtime salads, so I was pleased to find a quick match on the menu. After the ocean trout parfait of the night before at Cirrus, it was nice to encounter ocean trout again, this time as a fillet, next to a mixed salad with all sorts of things I like: cucumbers, coriander, avocado, peanuts, and shredded vegetables. Our return walk to Manly was slightly slower paced, allowing even more time to savor the views of flora, and ocean, as well as Manly Beach in the midday glare. On the hydrofoil back to Circular Quay, there was expectedly far more headwind, which for video purposes made filming the Opera House off to the left a bit risky. I wasn't sure my iPhone might not get blown out of my hands. The wind abated as soon as we rounded the corner of the Opera House and pulled into the wharf at Circular Quay. We made a beeline for the rooftop terrace at the Museum of Contemporary Art for our coffee and war views, and worked out our late afternoon and pre-dinner plans. All of those activities, and our dinner at Izakaya Masuya, will be in my next video.